just correctly.
Try it. Optical sensor's plugged in, the fuel's bled. We just changed to your computer.
Yep, that's the only difference.
Alright. Grease. Crank this baby up or something.
Never had it start that fast. Ever. That's the way to normally go. Idling about 650.
So the desired is a GM number?
The desired is whatever's programmed in the chip, and at your coolant temp, which is 125, the chip wants about 660 RPM. Once it warms up to about 175, then it'll go down to 600 RPM.
Because I noticed on my other one, my 95, that the idle drops so slowly you can't detect it.
Yeah.
So it's working properly because it just
like this one is programmed. This chip that I just programmed is programmed for like when it's down to like 0 degrees, it'll be 900 RPM.
0 being freezing minus 18 Celsius.
Yeah, 0
freaking
Fahrenheit,
cold. Yeah, which is minus 18
about
Celsius.
900 RPM, and then by about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, it would be 850 RPM, and then about 80 Fahrenheit. It's still very cold for the engine. 80 Fahrenheit would be like 800 RPM, and then 120 Fahrenheit you'd be down to like 750 RPM.
Which that's why I can't tell when it drops, because it drops 10 RPM in a crack, or 5 or 10, because you can't hear it drop.
Oh yeah, I made this one, that was stock. This one I made so when you're about 120, 130, it's down to about a little under 700. So
I like a slow idle personally. I don't need the engine fighting my brake pedal. But that's why in the 95 I can't feel it drop. It's just so slow. It drops 5,
the timing 10. Is being controlled correctly. It's wanting 10. It's giving 10. This is desired. That's measured. Your codes.
Oh, that's what you were saying. See, I couldn't see it from far. The previous screen said millimeters squared, was it?
Millimeters cubed.
Millimeters
is
cubed.
The fuel rate. It's a volume. Cubic millimeters is a volume of fuel that gets injected each injection.
Which is a tiny
amount every injection. Now, what people often give fuel volume in cubic centimeters, cc's, and but they do that for every 1,000 times the fuel's injected, you get 120 cc. But for every single time, that would just be 120 millimeters cubed.
Metric is tenths or hundreds or thousands.
Right.
Yeah. So simple metric.
So yeah, that's the just difference.
So are we seeing something correct now? Is the timing
working correctly now?
Is the timing of the optical sensor?
It's all working correctly.
Because it's fired right up, just like my other 95 does.
Working
Turn
correctly.
the key, it starts.
I don't know if it was because of the computer or the chip, but now it's seeing it correctly now.
Because we're looking for.
And now the timing is starting to go down as the temperature gets up. The cold advance is starting to go back down.
Which is what my 6.2 does mechanically. It has a cold start advance, and it's not working on mine because my temperature sensor is locked in the hot position in the back of the head, and I just never changed it. I should, because I have it doesn't go off of cold. Anyways, it starts in the winter. I just feather the throttle a bit.
So right now the only code you have is one that was stored in the computer. It was a timing code that isn't related to your truck at all.
Because I have a spare computer waiting in Halstead, Kansas from the pickup truck that I got the injection pump.
When you swap the computer is what saves the base timing value. And this is a different computer. It had the wrong value in it. So it's showing the code that was saved in this.
That's from your truck, which coincidentally is the same year as mine.
Yes.
A 5068, is it, the injection pump?
Well, no. the computers, the computer case, the board can be swapped. It's the chip that's different, and it's the chip can be changed without messing with the timing. This little EEPROM.
Oh, and it says 5068.
I just printed that out for you.
Oh, really? Oh, I was going to say, what a coincidence. It's already written on it.
Yeah. I printed that out.
You have a label making machine. It's a pretty slick operation here.
And but the computer, the PCM itself is what holds the timing value, that base timing called top dead center offset, TDCO.
Woo!
So that's the base timing, and that's stored in the computer memory. And as soon as it gets the engine's warm enough, we can run the top dead center offset procedure to.
That's what they talked about the optical sensor. Tell me that again. It was the
top dead center, TDCO.
TDCO.
Top dead center offset.
Oh, I'm rolling my eyes.
But as soon as we get up to about 170 Fahrenheit, we can run the procedure to reset the top dead center offset value. Because right now this computer has an invalid one in it. And anytime you swap computers, you have to run the procedure. Or anytime you swap the injection pump, or anytime you swap the timing gears, the timing chain. The chip, though, you can swap and it doesn't matter. You don't have to run the procedure.
When I bought my green Suburban, the guy said he'd put on phaser timing gears.
Sure.
I wonder if anybody did that procedure, because it does run really well. Maybe not as well as it could, but it seems fine or reasonable. I don't have trouble starting it hot, cold, and power's decent.
We didn't get it quite perfect because we're still kind of high on the fuel rate. But
that's the mechanical setting. The mechanical setting of the.
Yeah, but it's better.
Because I think you had told me that 8.
It should be about 8 millimeters cubed. Somewhere you really want it to be like 6 to 9, somewhere in there at idle, warm idle. It should be 6 to 9.
So should we take it off and move it one last time?
Well, let's see if we get it running right first.
Right.
And then if we do, then you might not want to touch it, or you might want to make it right.
I'm never going to touch it again. If I don't do it here, well, I'm going to sell this truck when I get home. I don't need a fire engine red Suburban. I've got enough.
Let's wait till it gets warm and see what the value is. Maybe we close the hood. It'll warm up faster, maybe.
Well, we can look at my fan and see if it's locked on. It shouldn't be.
That's normal. That's the normal idle amount.
I haven't checked it carefully. My other one at home is locked on. It's blowing like crazy, roaring. But they don't disengage 100% or 90. This one may only disengage 50%.
Depends on the little loud.
Can you hook up a gizmo to operate the throttle from under the hood? Is that another gas pedal? Because in the old days, you just flicker it with the cable.
Keep it warm.
Right. I wonder what that ringing is. Something is loose. Something is dangling. Exhaust pipe part.
The washer, probably. Starter bracket. Right there, your starter bracket.
And I tightened that heck out of that bolt. Both bolts are loose. I'm cranking the crap out of that starter. How do you like that? And I tightened them really well. Not a good thing, huh? I was so worried about it, they're freaking loose anyway.